Part 10 on the relativity of the conception of distance. Let us consider two particular points on the train traveling along the embankment with the velocity v, and inquire as to their distance apart. Note the middle of the first and of the 100th carriage. End of note. We already know that it is necessary to have a body of reference for the measurement of a distance, with respect to which body the distance can be measured up. It is the simplest plan to use the train itself as the reference body or coordinate system. An observer in the train measures the interval by marking off his measuring rod in a straight line, for instance along the floor of each carriage, as many times as is necessary to take him from the one marked point to the other. Then the number which tells us how often the rod has to be laid down is the required distance. It is a different matter when the distance has to be judged from the railway line. Here, the following method suggests itself. If we call A' and B' the 2 points on the train whose distance apart is required, then both of these points are moving with the velocity v along the embankment. In the first place, we require to determine the points A and B of the embankment, which are just being passed by the 2 points A' and B' at a particular time t, judged from the embankment. These points A and B of the embankment can be determined by applying the definition of time given in section 8. The distance between these points A and B is then measured by repeated application of the measuring rod along the embankment. A priori, it is by no means certain that this last measurement will supply us with the same result as the first. Thus, the length of the train as measured from the embankment may be different from that obtained by measuring in the train itself. This circumstance leads us to a second objection, which must be raised against the apparently obvious consideration of section 6. Namely, if the man in the carriage covers the distance w in a unit of time measured from the train, then this distance as measured from the embankment is not necessarily also equal to w.